Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. I am Melrose, and I am here to share your daily aspects. So, as the sun moves out of Aquarius today and into Pisces, and that's happening this morning, we may really notice a shift in our consciousness, especially in regards to our outer life themes, work, social, and civic. Our focus is pulled from the larger, more communal concerns that we've been focused on, and we begin to seek out time for a nap or a game or a craft. So that Aquarius creativity that comes from a desire for social betterment is turned sort of inward to a desire to create for our own healing and a sense of connection just to ourselves and to our home. And as the waning gibbous moon shifts out of Virgo and into Libra, we may notice a more personal internal shift from busy problem solving motivations to more of a desire for our homes, our bodies, our hearts and minds to feel balanced and beautiful. So there's a lot of creative energy moving around here. This is a time I find that we often wind up cleaning up our house, and we're cleaning up our house right now. So, it's something between that real problem solving on the internal side and the desire to have balance and beauty around us makes us, it pushes us particularly forward in our home. So that's an interesting thing to note. The waning gibbous moon, we are 2 days past the full moon in Leo, is inviting us to move into a time of review. So we had a culminative event there that celebrated goals we had reached or almost reached, and celebrated what we have achieved and simply what we have to appreciate. And it's nice to have that celebration. And then when we're done with the celebration, we got to clean up a little bit. We've got to review, ask ourselves, how did that go for ourselves? How would we have it go better the next time around? So that when we come to this third quarter moon next Wednesday, then we can begin to we have a consciousness of what needs to go, and we can just start pushing it all out, right? Okay, so the legend is on the side here. I have listed all of the symbols that are on the page. So if you don't feel that I explained something well, or if you're curious about a symbol, here's a little name and explanation for each one of them. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get into the aspects and eventually talk about all of those symbols. I've divided the page into two parts, one for each of our luminaries. The sun and the moon. And the moon relates to our inner lives. This is who we are on the inside, our experience of our bodies, our hearts and minds, the things we think, feel, know, and intuit. Until they are expressed, they are strictly on the moon side. They're personal, they're on the inside. And the moon also relates to our home sphere. So the aspects and transits that happen under the moon are relatively brief, and they have more to do, again, with those things we think, feel, know, and intuitive. They're more like energies that might affect our moods or our intuitions. The sun represents our outer life and sheds light on our outer life. So, when you walk outside and the sun is shining on your face, the part of you that is shown to the rest of the world is the part of you that is the sun. And I address the sun's aspects and transits and all the other planets on this side because they take longer and they have a lot more to do with that outer life stuff. Although they all have something to do with the inner life as well, of course, because it's the outer life that informs what we do with those feelings and intuitions. And we start with the moon today, friends, Central Standard Time at 7:22 a.m. The moon makes an opposition with Neptune. Okay, so when the moon is in aspect with Neptune, we are particularly sensitive. perhaps even a little psychic when it comes to the energies of people around us. Okay, this is about our relationship to the human collective, what's going on, not just in your house, but in your family and in your neighborhood and in your community. You're going to be feeling the vibes of everyone around you. It's more like a collective consciousness feeling. And in that oppositional, this is an opportunity for conflict to come up. Okay, so misunderstanding at this time and confusion are available to slow your progress, especially when it comes to your interactions with other people. So, beware within yourself, on the personal side, on the inside, of any angry thoughts or ideas you might be having about another person that aren't based in any real specific fact. Okay, this is a little bit of a paranoia check, right? We can suspect things of people, but we can't be angry at them for being something that we have no proof they are, right? So, just back off any angry thoughts you're having about other people, any paranoid thoughts you're having about other people. Give it some time. This is a 2-hour aspect. We don't have to drag it into the rest of the day with us. Seek clarity in the moment if you don't feel like you can give it some time. Later on, 5:19 p.m., the moon void of course. So this is the last aspect that the moon will make in the sign of Virgo before entering Libra. The moon makes a trine aspect with Pluto. And here, the moon in aspect with Pluto usually brings us into the depths of our hearts, of our emotions, our intuitions, our own psyche. And it's from there that transformative, emotional, and even psychic experiences are available. And with the trine aspect here, those efforts, those recalls, those deep realizations, you're in a really blessed position to have a transformative internal experience here. So to me, I would say this is a great time to get out your intuitive practices, do your journaling, do your meditation, look into your own astrology, pull out your tarot cards, use your runes, whatever it is that you, get out your painting or your coloring, whatever it is that you use to sort of, focus on, your inner life. You have a great 3 or 4 hour period of time this evening to really engage in that, because the moon goes into Libra at 9:51 p.m. And this is a 2-hour aspect, but this is a 2.5 day transit. And this is a 3 to 4 hour period of time. So especially between 5 and 7, these creative, these internal, investigative, deep truth, problem solving, transformative experiences are available if we want to, turn within with our intuitive practices and try to do some healing and find the end to something, or the beginning to something that we're looking for. You have a good 3 or 4 hour period of time where that's just sort of extended, because during this period of time, we're really not under the influence of either of these signs. We're just kind of out there in the void, in between. So, it creates some clarity. It creates a window within which we can just turn within and be with our moon outside of the influence of a sign. And then when the moon is in Libra, we are seeking truth, beauty, and balance in the body, heart, and mind, in the home. And so, that's our focus. And it's a really intellectual vibe. It's also kind of a problem-solving vibe, in that, we want to have the truth. We want to seek the balance, so that we can have good functioning in our hearts and homes. Okay, and then on the sun side of the page, in the ongoing column, through the 20th of March, we have Venus conjunct Mars. So this is a very generative time. I just want to say that, like, Venus conjunct Mars, if you want to speak strictly physically, it's a very sexy time. It's a very desirous and assertive time. Again, we know what we want. We know how to get it. We have, created space in our lives for it, and we have the boldness and the assertiveness to ask. So, if there's somebody out there that you've been thinking about getting a little more intimate with, it's a good time to have that conversation, because it's kind of a blessed conjunction. But make sure that it's a good person to get involved with, because this is a very fertile time. Okay, very fertile time. Use your protection if you're not trying to make babies. What do you seek to create with your partnerships? Okay, which partnerships are you focusing on? And you have to look at both of them. You have to have the conversation with the partner and say, what are we creating here? What are we trying to build? What are we trying to grow? Or what are we trying simply to maintain? And now is the time to get ambitious, set goals, and do labor in the pursuit of your partner goals. And I say that because, again, Venus is in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. Mars is in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. So they're traveling together, and they're very much still in that sweat of the brow, put your nose down and do the work. Okay, so that is an ambitious time, and it is a vibe that wants to have goals and do work. So if do labor is like have sex and make a baby, go ahead and do labor, because this is the time to do it. It's a very fertile time, and I'm gonna say more about that in a moment. But Venus conjunct Mars, it doesn't just have to be about physical fertility. I want to say that this is just the time to create. If you guys have always dreamed about building your own house, perhaps this is the time to focus on bringing that into reality. If you and your partner have always wanted to go on a vacation to Hawaii, maybe now is the time to really get together and focus on that together and work toward it, because shared resources and shared drive and shared momentum, shared ambition can get a lot done. So dream big too. And I say dream big because also traveling with Venus and Mars in conjunct, we have Jupiter and Uranus in a sextile condition with one another, and it's going to be with us at least through the spring equinox. So this is a sign that says good fortune for positive change that generates wealth and abundance. I say wealth and abundance because having everything that you need, is not necessarily any different from having all the money in the world, because it's just about having what you need, and having all your needs and desires met. So now is the time to plant seeds, both literal and figurative, and intend really big things with them. Again, we're going to get to talking about how fertile a time this is, because the sun is about to go into Pisces this morning, and it is the time to lay back, rest, and play. So just understand that the seeds you plant right now, the seeds that you plant right now really have a lot of potential to grow into something big and beautiful. So just be intentional about it. And think big, but be intentional. Okay, and then today, ongoing with the theme of creativity, the sun does move into Pisces at 10:43 a.m. And the sun in Pisces is the time to recreate, rest, rejuvenate. Let that inner child out to play. Let that grown-ass child out to play, okay? And do the things that you love to do. Pisces is the end of the solar cycle. The solar cycle begins with Aries in the middle of March. So we've reached the 12th month on the lunar calendar. We've reached the 12th month in the solar cycle. So this is really a time to sit back and rest and regenerate. And just also tie up loose ends and make sure we have things in hand, because when the sun moves into Aries a month from now, we're going to have a lot of energy just to get up and move forward and do whatever it takes. All right, so, and I also want to say once again, this is a really fertile time, so act with intention when you play. Pisces is very playful, creative energy, so when you play, please, if you're not trying to make babies, wrap it up. And otherwise, even then, if you're just playing with somebody in order to grow your relationship, make sure you're playing with intention and being really clear with one another. Coming up next Wednesday, we have a third quarter moon in Sagittarius. And that's going to be the time when we shift from reviewing how things went for us and sort of making the list of things we'd like to, put away or get rid of. This is where we move into going ahead and getting rid of things. And with that fire sign involved, I'm going to say, there's going to be some, not burning things, but like really getting rid of things, not just packing them into storage. And also next Wednesday, Mercury in a sextile relationship with Chiron. We've talked about this a couple of months ago, and that's going to be an interesting thing to come back to. Venus, on Thursday, Venus is going to make a sextile with Neptune, which is interesting because Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces now. So, that's going to be a really cooperative functioning between our sense of love and receptivity and our relationship to the human collective. So that's great. And then also on Friday, Venus is going to make a square with Uranus, which is going to be like, I don't know if all these changes are working for me. But we'll get to that. And at this point, that's it for the daily aspects. I'm going to move on into the tarot portion, but first I want to ask you, if you're still here and paying attention, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe to my channel, share this with somebody if you think it will resonate for them or provide them any support or entertainment. I'm down for being entertainment. Also, what was I going to say? Oh, also, if you have any thoughts or anything comes up for you, or if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments section below. I do check my comments section and I will see it and respond. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about the tarot card that sits on the side of the page here. It is the last day, guys, for the Seven of Swords. So, as we shift into Pisces, we're going to have Cups cards over here because Pisces is a water sign and Aquarius is an air sign. So while we were in Aquarius, we had Swords, and when we shift to Pisces, we'll have Cups. And water is about emotion and intuition. So it's very good. It's things are going to come into a more emotional place where they possibly haven't been lately. And that's good. It's good for that to ebb and flow. The Seven of Swords specifically has to do with deceit or, theft or theft by lying. Okay. And what I mean by theft by lying is, like if you had some information that you knew somebody probably needed and you didn't share it with them, then, you kind of kept something from them. You deprived them of something that they probably had a right to have. And also, that we all lie and steal and keep secrets for our own little reasons in different little ways. Okay, so recognize that. If you're going to sit there and tell me, Melanie, I never tell a lie or withhold any information or keep things from people, I have no secrets, I'm going to call you a liar. But, it's a reminder that we don't have to fall into habitual lying. And it's better if we try to be impeccable with our word and be honest and say things that are true and helpful. Sometimes in a tricky situation, we find that the less we say, the better, and that's okay. Sometimes we just, prevent some harm in that situation, and just be careful that that deceit, when you withhold something like that, isn't harming anybody, doesn't pose the potential to harm anyone or to make them feel that they've been harmed, and also that it isn't harming you. It's not going to come back on you in some way, like it's a bigger mess than you ever should have gotten yourself into, right? So be impeccable with your word. We all keep secrets, but don't keep secrets you don't have to, okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and draw a card for today. I'm using my Aquarian Tarot deck, drawn by David Palladini. I'll show you some of the images in a moment here, or one of the images in a moment here. The sun is in Aquarius, shifting into Pisces today. Saturn is in Aquarius until 2026. Mercury will be in Aquarius for another week or so. Jupiter is in Pisces, which is great because we have this really good fortune aspect down here that says, we've got growth and positive change coming in our lives, and it's right there in the sunlight. So it's going to be, there's going to be a real focus, a real brightening effect of that planet. And Neptune as well, which is our connection to humanity, our where we stand in the flow of the human spirit. So those are positive signs going forward. And the waning gibbous moon shifts from Virgo into Libra today. We have Venus conjunct Mars and Jupiter sextile Uranus working together on our lives right now to bring us bigger, better things, especially in terms of what we can do in partnerships. Like, see how much you can do on your own, think how much you could do with a partner. A little help from a friend, right? And I see really positive stuff in general happening this evening. You start with this trine aspect, so you could get some real ideal functioning out of your intuitive practices at this time, and find some real internal truths or gain some understandings that you didn't have before, and just avoid misunderstanding early this morning and paranoia. So, that looks like a pretty good day if we can keep if we can steer clear of the bad mood vibe early in the morning. And here we have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles, can look a little bit like a struggle. You've got some resources here. Pentacles are really about your physical resources. So your body is your physical resource. Your relative well-being in your body is a physical resource. The stuff you have, like the floor you walk on in the house over your head, or the apartment around you, and the car that gets you around, those things of value that you have, and also your money, your wealth, your finances. So Two of Pentacles, it looks somewhat like a kind of a juggling job. It looks like the waters back here are choppy, so sometimes we get a little emotional about our financial situation or our health situation, especially when we think that we're low on either side, right? Like, I've got 2 nickels to rub together here. What am I gonna get for dinner? So we constantly are in this sort of ebb and flow of resources, physical resources, body resources, financial resources, and it does take attention, okay? And it helps if you can work to remove the emotion from it. Something that has really helped for me is to have a conversation every day with my partner about the money situation that we're in. Okay, so some of us got really good financial educations growing up. I'm not one of those people who got a good education about balancing my books and having a budget and finance and my parents didn't really talk to me about that. So, I struggled for a long time, and I struggled emotionally because I would feel like a bad person if I ran out of money. And likewise, sometimes, the world will make you feel kind of bad if you get sick. They're like, oh, stay away from us. Or they're like, oh, you're not well enough, to do the things that we expect you to do. So it can be a little bit scary, and it can become a little emotional, and you can be defensive or scared or just um, you know so all I'm trying to say is that work to manage it, and work to manage it with as little of an emotional reaction to it as possible. And part of that is just facing it every day and being really honest about the situation that you are in, and seeing if you can make a plan to get things going better for you, because there's always an opportunity in the offing. You've got 2 seeds to plant here. All right, so you're actually you've actually got a pretty good start. And I think that's all I have to say about that today. I appreciate everybody being here, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today with Melrose.